Now that I'm baptized, I'm born again, and I'm trying to serve God, the devil crept in where he used my family to come against me. I'm 17 now, and I'm home, and I get into a fight with my uncle, who was also a drug addict as well. And we get into a fight. I call the police, press charges on him. My family was not happy. My grandmother kicked me out. She told the police I could not stay here. My baby at this time is about maybe 4 months. I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to go. And the police are saying, your grandmother said you can't stay here. You're going to have to go into a group home. No, I can't go into a group home. I stayed in a precinct till midnight. From around maybe like 6 or 7 till midnight, I sat in a precinct with my baby. I had nowhere to go. And one of my friends from junior high school, I decided to call her and let her know, her mom, they came. I was able to stay with them for a few weeks. I got some clothes from my grandmother. I was angry at them. I didn't want anything to do with my family anymore. They put me out. I'm 17 years old. My mother's not around. I have nowhere to go. They knew I had nowhere to go. I couldn't stay with my friend for long. And so I called up my church and I told my church what was happening. And they found someone for me to stay with in church. I stay with a few people. I'm bouncing here and there. All I knew is that I did not want to backslide. I did not want to go back into the world. I didn't want to go back to the streets and to try and provide for my child and give my child that wicked lifestyle, that upbringing that I had, to be messed up just like me. And I told God that. I said, God, I don't want my child to be like me. I don't want my son to be like me. I'm trying to trust you, but I'm struggling. I kept hearing the sermons and the preaching, and I kept hearing the encouragement of everyone telling me that it's going to get better. God is going to change it. Just trust him. And so I continued to be faithful to the Lord and trust him. I never went back to the streets. I never tried to find a man to take care of me. I didn't have to turn back to marijuana. I did not have to go back to selling drugs. I didn't even go back to my family. Trusted God through my struggles. And at 18 years old, I ended up getting my own apartment in Harlem. My baby is 1. My son is 1 year old now. And I'm still faithfully serving God. Faithfully serving God. And the Lord brought my husband into my life from my church. And that's what God will do when you trust him and you believe in him and you stay faithful. He keeps his promises. He keeps his promises. Because I met a man in the church who God told I'm his wife and revealed also to me that he's my husband. And I'm wondering, there's no one I know in my family that's married. I don't know anything about being a wife. But this man loved me. And he was willing to be a father to my son, who was not his biological son. And I could see where God was just changing me. I was telling God, I said, God, all that I'm going through, I always thought I was worthless. I always thought I was garbage. I always thought that the way I was brought up, that my past was who I am. But I easily learned in Christ Jesus that your past does not dictate your future in God. And God was showing this to me, that he had something better, that his thoughts towards me was not evil, but they were good. And I had an expected end. And so I continued in the Lord and I trust the Lord, and I got married. I met my husband. I got married. I'm married going on 20 years now, and serving God. And I was able to raise my son in the church. I have 3 children now, raised them. But what God did for me, because I was able to bring my family to Jesus Christ. I was able to bring, them to the church, for them to give their life. And some of them got baptized. So God used me when I thought that my past defined me. God showed me that it advanced me. And I was able to use my testimony, like what I'm doing now, share my testimony to those, to my relatives, to my sisters, to my brothers, to those who are in the shoes that I once filled.